Raw review for the October 7th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, first 2-hour Raw and God knows how long, so it was a quick one.
Yeah, it was good, but they're gonna have to get used to it.
Yeah, you could tell they were trying to like rush through some things, but first one, I'm sure with time.
And it's only till January. So anyway, we did start off with none other than Sexy Red. I was like, oh, hi, how you doing? And all she did was say, welcome to Monday Night Raw, and direct us to a Bad Blood recap. So that happened.
Yeah, so it was his own. And this is going up the day after Raw, so NXT is tonight.
Yep.
It is in St. Louis as well, where Sexy Red has a special concert.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that.
Nope. Okay. Yep. That's a thing that happens in wrestling now.
Yes.
Next up, though, was Mr. CM Punk, who was limping out, bloodied still a little bit, bandaged up. He looked beat up.
Yeah.
Looked pretty beat up. And he said, is it good to not be dead in St. Louis on a Monday night? The crowd went wild. I was like, that's good. I like that. He goes, I'm in no condition to be here. I am not walking to that ring. It even hurts to smile. But I'm alive. I don't feel like it, though. He goes, I won, but it doesn't feel like I won. Basically, I was right about only having 0 Hell in a Cell matches left because that hurt. He said the match left him with a lot of questions. What does the future hold? He goes, I don't know. But he says he wants to thank his fans, his peers, and his haters because his haters been talking a lot of shit, and that's made him money. Mm-hmm. So he loves proving them wrong. He goes, I don't know why you keep doubting me, but keep doubting me. He goes, and then he continues to say, I'm going home to my wife, who he hasn't seen in 5 weeks, and he honestly does not know when he will see us again. But he thanks us, the fans, and right when he does that, Mr. Seth Rollins' music hits.
Yes.
And nothing is said. He walks out, they give each other a little eye to eye, and then Seth moves to the ring, and Punk goes to the back.
Mm-hmm.
So we have ourselves a kind of confirmation here that we may not be in CM. We have confirmation here that we may not be seeing CM Punk for an extended period of time here. In terms of pop or drop, you gotta like this. I mean, he came out selling the hell out of a bloody match. Hopefully he's all good. Pop.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it as well. You also get the confirmation with him and Rollins down the line that is going to be a thing. I saw that. Obviously, we don't know when we're going to see Punk again. I also saw that we're not going to see Drew until probably Rumble. So give those guys a much needed break. And with the 2 hours, it's kind of like a perfect format of we were wondering what's next. Well, how about we just kind of push these guys off, give them some rest, and build some other people up?
Yeah, we're in October. You get the Saudi show coming up, and then Survivor Series that seemingly has some bigger stories to tell. That may need some more time for those. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with Punk and McIntyre if they want to sit out these 2-hour shows. Because neither of them are going to be in condition to fight, right? So, and we've seen enough of their just in-ring standing there promos over the past few months. Give these guys a good old break till maybe January when those 3-hour Raws come back around. But anyway, Seth Rollins was in the ring, as I just said. When he got it there, and he goes, you know what? I hate to say it, but I'm going to be honest and respectful. CM Punk, hope you get well. And I hope you get well, so when you come back, I can retire you for good. I was like, you know what? Perfect. That's all we needed from him to just cement that rivalry still being a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He goes, man, Bad Blood was crazy. The Rock is back. Hell froze over, and who I thought was kind of my friend, Cody Rhodes, is now teaming with Roman Reigns. He got his butt whooped by Kevin Owens afterward, but not my place to talk about that, so we'll move on. I was like, that's good stuff. He goes, I am back to destroy Bronson Reed. He ain't here tonight, but listen to me very closely. And he takes the camera all the way up to his face. He's speaking to Bronson Reed himself, and he goes, 2 months ago, you tried to end my career just to make a name for yourself. Well, 6 tsunamis later, and we finally know your name. He goes, I'll give you your 15 minutes. You know that? I'll do a one-on-one match with you whenever you want. You name the time and the place. I will be expecting you. And then Jey Uso's music hits. 2-hour show is in effect here. They're like, hey, on to the next. But weird little thing happened. Him and Jay kind of had a little bit of a stare off in the ring.
Yeah.
So, but that was all for the Seth Rollins segment. Quick, short, to the point. I'm going to go ahead and give it a pop. Should we talk about the Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed stuff first?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that. You want to go ahead?
No, go for it.
Oh, okay.
I popped it.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna pop it as well. For me, like, it wasn't an overwhelming pop. I thought, like,
No.
oh, there's nothing wrong with
No,
this. This is fine. It's good to see Seth back.
Yep.
Good to hear him on the mic again. Excited for that feud. Hopefully, it lasts a little bit. I guess he probably gets the win over Bronson because him and Punk have the stuff, so you got to build that up. But admittedly, I want to see Bronson kind of continue some of that momentum that he had. So there's no really better guy in WWE to put Bronson with than Seth to make him look good. So
yeah, I mean, I couldn't be. We've given our flowers to Bronson Reed even before he started this reign of terror over the past couple months. We were the guys, especially you, saying, "Give him something to do. Give him something to do. Give him something to do." Now he has something to do, and now looks like he's gonna feud with literally one of the top 5 names in all of professional wrestling. So good for him. But I do want to point out the Jey Uso Seth Rollins small stare down. Is that something or is that nothing?
I don't know. I think it's probably something. I mean, it's there for a reason, right? Like there wasn't exactly a warm welcome.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, like, there's a couple of things. I wonder if how popular Jey became kind of overtook Seth's, because, like, I didn't feel the people singing Seth's song as much, right? Yeah. So, like, there's a hint at that. So maybe Seth's mad at that. Maybe Seth doesn't trust anybody. There's also the Roman, like, you are Roman's cousin at the end of the day sort of thing. So I think that's something. I don't know if we're going to get a big feud out of it. I don't think we'll get that, but it is something to know.
I don't know if it's something either, but I will say that if they decide to keep Jey away from the Bloodline story for longer than all of us expect, then what better, like, icy feud would there be than, like, Seth Rollins and Jey Uso? That would be, like, the most, like, high level feud that belt has seen in a long time, to bring that title up just even more. That'd be kind of even more than, like, a Gunther Sami level of feud for that belt. So I'd be 100% down for that, and those two would put on a show, and Seth Rollins would do the job for him, and that could be something that catapults Jey into even another stratosphere, right? So hopefully it is something, is what I'll say to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with Jey saying he'll defend it every week, like, there's opportunity there to make it something.
Yeah.
So even if it is just like a quick one-off.
Speaking of Jey being a fighting champion, he was in the ring for a match. Xavier Woods beating Rey Mysterio last week in order to earn this title shot. So Xavier Woods comes out with Kofi Kingston, and this match was something. It was something. It spilled out of the ring right away almost, and Woods picked up Jey Uso and hit an attitude adjustment on the outside. Mm-hmm. Did anybody notice that? I was like, if that was John Cena, this match is already over. He picked him up. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
He nailed it. But Woods is putting off this new persona, right? He's pissed. There's no more dance into the ring. You know, Kofi's trying to get him, you know, his spirits up like it used to be. But Woods is here for business. But this match took place, and most of it, 60% of it, I'd say, took place in picture-to-picture. So there was commercial going on with the match.
Yeah.
And it was the most glaring. It was one of the more glaring points of the night where I was like, ooh, 2 hours is already seeping in a little bit. Because once they came out of commercial break, so Woods kind of controlled the match all during the commercial break. And then it was like the second commercial break came back, Jey Uso come back, right? He was doing his spit hand dance and punches that he normally does. Xavier Woods would get an upper hand for one more minute, go up to the top rope, try to do some springboard move, but Jey Uso would hit he would super kick him on the way down from the springboard, go on up, Uso splash, 1, 2, 3, Jey Uso wins this thing. Mm-hmm. After the match, though, Xavier Woods, it gets helped up by Jey Uso because Jey's got nothing against these guys. It's a New Day. They're fun, right? Kofi Kingston shakes his hand. He's like, good match, good match. Xavier Woods wins none of it. He storms out of the ring. He gets mad at Kofi Kingston. He's like, why'd you shake his hand? He beat me, big whoop. And while Jey Uso's kind of celebrating his first title defense, boom, Braun Breaker out of nowhere, spears the shit out of him. And then he goes, Kofi Kingston tries to help him, spears Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston rolls out of the ring, and Xavier Woods is now like making sure Kofi's good because Kofi's still his boy. And Braun Breaker runs around the ring, spears his ass. And then he gets back in the ring, does a slingshot spear off the ropes at 23 miles an hour, and it hits Jey Uso again. So Braun Breaker is not done with the Intercontinental Championship and Jey Uso. This was something. It was a tale of two halves to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with the match itself because I think these guys can put on a show, and it was just obvious they didn't get the time. So I really wanted to drop the stuff, but I do think the combination of like the Woods storytelling post match, Braun Breaker being matched, Jey Uso getting a good defense here, I'm gonna give it the upper hand here and give it a pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. For me, most of the match being in picture really took away from it.
Yeah.
The fact that I can't even really concentrate on what is happening.
Whopper.
Yeah, exactly. It was short. Felt like Woods, like you said, had an offense for most of the time, and then Jey just hit a couple moves. Boom, it's over. Jey gets the win here, which is obviously the right call. You still get the Woods turning again, this new kind of character-driven Woods. So that's fine. You even had Kofi give him a look after Woods lost. Yeah. Kofi had some look on his face, kind of like a disappointed look or like an okay, kind of an accepting, like, okay, maybe he's not good enough sort of thing. The Braun Breaker stuff, I will say, that surprised me.
Yeah.
I was sitting there just like, okay, cool. We got Woods and Jey is going to celebrate. And then all of a sudden, Braun Breaker comes out. So I was excited for him to turn babyface.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, here we go. I guess that's not happening.
Nope.
He's not done with the IC title, and that just means that maybe he gets in the back of the line and then just proceeds to run through the whole roster again.
A little bit of me thought that they did it this way too with Braun Breaker with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to maybe shoe in Xavier in there to take a pin. I'm guessing maybe Braun Breaker does get that title back. It's one of those things where everybody keeps saying that Jey has to make his way to the Bloodline story by Survivor Series. Well, if you add Xavier Woods into this story, and even Kofi for that matter, if you go the triple threat match or fatal four-way match, there's a lot of people in that ring that can take a pin from Braun Breaker that aren't Jey Uso, right? So that might be one way they're doing it. But, I'm happy that we're not just getting the one-off Braun Breaker, Jey Uso. I think that those two deserve a show, and hopefully it's one-on-one stuff. But I just think that the way they did it with Xavier Woods and Kofi might include them.
Yeah. For me, it's maybe, I don't know, Pierce has always said you got to get to the back of the line when you lose your title. Yeah. So maybe he does have to go through a couple other people, and then he gets that Jey match. But yeah, I'm excited because admittedly, like as happy I was for Jey, I was like, dang, what's next for Braun Breaker? But I guess now we know.
We know. Small Rhea Ripley promo video would take place next. She was like in this dark, purpley hazed room looking like the Undertaker or something. And she said that, Liv, I should have known you'd weasel your way out of bad blood. You cannot beat me alone. Now, all you've done is given me a reason to keep coming for you. She goes, you need Raquel in order to beat me. And then it just cuts off. Like she doesn't go further into it. That's about it. Do we pop or drop this? If we do pop or drop this, I'd give it a drop. It's just too short. Nothing was really said here. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop it. It was kind of just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is fine at times, but I don't know. You could tell that they're trying to rush through these 2 hours and get important points down. But overall, just some stuff that maybe they thought were going to hit just didn't seem to hit.
Yeah. I would agree. Anyway, speaking of Braun Breaker, he's backstage, and Jackie Redmond tries to get his attention and ask why he did that, and Braun just walked away. So, more for that to come. But we then cut away. Cody Rhodes is in the arena. He is here. Triple H, they show that Triple H acknowledged the Kevin Owens jumping backstage that happened after Bad Blood while we were filming our review, so we couldn't talk about it. But that's a thing that is going on, and we may see him a little bit later. More backstage action, though. We do get The Miz and Karrion Kross talking. Karrion Kross is like, "Oh, it's all part of my plan. You're listening to me. You turned on truth." And Miz is like, "I turned on truth because I turned on truth for me. The WWE is forgetting about who I am. I'm The Miz, and the truth keeps getting me into trouble every week. And when that happens, screen glitches. It just says, there you are. Uh-oh. But before we talk about that, R-Truth does show up, and he's like, Miz, I don't know why he kicked me. I think you were confused. I'm not a part of the Judgment Day anymore." And Miz is like, "I didn't kick you because you were part of the Judgment Day, bro. I kicked you because you're just stupid. You get me into matches I don't want to be in." And Truth is like, "You mean that? Our kids play together and all this stuff." And Miz is like, "Yeah, I'll prove it to you. I want a one-on-one match with you next week." But the main takeaway here is it looks like
the next target.
it looks like the Wyatt Six have their next target, and it is The Miz. That will be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, there is only one Miz, and there's 5 Howdies, 5 Wyatts, but like, this is going to be so good because The Miz is such a good heel that I'm excited to see him back. How many times he's going to call them freaks, things like that.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good promos.
You know what it does is it finally puts The Miz back in a relevant rivalry with that's going to be, featured on Raws in a big way. And I love to see it because The Miz deserves it. He's great. What I'm hoping is that he can talk Maurice into coming back for one more stint. And maybe that's how they get Nikki Cross and that witch character involved as well. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm assuming if it turns out to be like a multi-person thing where you have the Wyatts and Miz needs help, he's going to reach out to Karrion Kross and AOP. That just kind of makes sense to me.
Right.
So I assume that's probably where we'll go if we do get those multi-people matches. This is going to be good stuff. I mean, how can you drop this,
He's The Miz.
It's going to be next week.
Oh, we popping it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be next week.
You'll be next week?
Yeah, I think we're going to get some sort of howdy interaction during that R-Truth Miz match.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah.
Whether it's just a piano playing or what, but we'll get something.
It's going to be good. Speaking of good, next up, we get ourselves a Sheamus versus Pete Dunne good old Donnybrook match. Mm-hmm. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yep.
And
yep.
It was pretty obvious right away they're going to beat the hell out of each other because Sheamus came out with a shillelagh and Pete Dunne came out with a cricket bat.
Yep.
And I thought they were going to start the match with hitting each other like lightsabers, but they didn't. They both put their weapons down and then just attacked really quickly. Mm-hmm. I will note that on the outside of the ring they had like a bar, like a literal bar, like where you get drinks with bar stools, and they had a bunch of like whiskey barrels around the ring and stuff. Yeah. I was like, this is cool. We need this in 2K.
Yeah. Yeah, good old Donnybrook match. I love the way, I used to hate it, but I love when they name street fights just different things.
Oh, yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
And this was just fun.
Yeah, it was. It's what it was. So they would attack each other without their weapons right away, but Sheamus would immediately realize, I brought a shillelagh to the ring. I should probably go use that. He walked over, starts choking Pete Dunne with it. I was like, damn. But anyway, we'd spill out to the outside because they got a lot of fun stuff out there. And we only got 2 hours. Let's get after it. And Pete Dunne would go on top of he'd jump on top of the whiskey barrels and do a tornado DDT off of them to Sheamus, which was freaking awesome. And then we'd go to the other side of the ring where they have the bar, and he'd put Sheamus's hand on top of the bar. He'd stomp on that.
Yeah.
And then after that, Sheamus is like, that hurt, and I'm pissed now. He'd clear off the announce table, and he'd powerbomb Dunne into it, onto the top of it. Didn't break. But picture-in-picture happened again, so you could keep watching the match. And while the picture-in-picture was happening, Pete Dunne walked over, picked up one of the bar stools, smacked Sheamus with it, used it to choke him. I was like, damn, he's swinging a bar stool, like a wooden bar stool at this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sheamus would get the upper hand for a second here, and while he did that, he had enough time to set up a couple tables on the outside of the ring right next to some barrels. Mm-hmm. We all knew what was coming then.
Yeah.
So they end up fighting in the ring for a little bit back and forth, but it ends up spilling out. And when it spills out, Pete Dunne climbs on top of the barrels right next to the tables again to presumably do some move, but Sheamus hits him with a shillelagh again, and he climbs on up there. White noise jumping off the barrels through the 2 tables. Mm-hmm. Cut Sheamus's arm open. Looks like a nasty bump. Thing was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And they even did the, right before that, he did the 10 beats.
Yeah, he did
while he had the shillelagh locking Pete Dunne's arms. I was like, oh, this is great. This is good stuff.
And then he throws Pete Dunne into the ring, gets him up into a high cross, which is like a glorified Razor's Edge, right? Higher almost. Throws him down. I'm like, okay, Pete Dunne just took a giant bump on the outside and a Razor's Edge here. It's over. 1, 2, kick out. Mm-hmm. It's like, damn.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
And when this happens, they both get up slowly because, ow, this match is hurt. Pete Dunne finally walks over and grabs his cricket bat, starts beating Sheamus with that. And when he does that, he puts the cricket bat down, walks over and gets zip ties. Mm-hmm. Zip ties Sheamus' hands together. I was like, well, this match is over. Can't use his hands.
Yep, that's what I thought too.
Well, he stands Sheamus up, and Sheamus is doing the injured 2KO in the middle of the ring. And Pete Dunne walks over and grabs his cricket bat to do some sort of like running cricket bat finisher. I don't know what it was. But we get a high knee from Sheamus and then a bro kick from Sheamus. And with his hands behind his back, falls on top of Pete Dunne. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus wins it. This match was freaking awesome. I would have liked Sheamus to lose it, but it's pops all the way around for me.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but I mean, this was just fun. Yeah. I can't really hate on anything here.
No.
Did you see the video that WWE posted afterwards?
No.
There's a video of like Sheamus walking in the back to like go see the trainer and get his back and stuff like that, and it looks.
Oh, I saw the picture that Sheamus posted.
It looks gnarly. So,
dude, every time he comes out of a match, he's just battered.
yeah, every time
he's losing years.
Yeah, and but they give us great stuff like this. Like I'm okay for it. So, Pete Dunne, Butch doesn't really lose anything here. I thought he looked really good. Sheamus looked really good. Just a fun match to put in the 2 hours here.
Yeah, I mean, my only gripe, and a small gripe, is like Sheamus doesn't need this win either. I would have liked Pete Dunne to get the win, especially when you zip tie the guy's hand behind his back. But it did make for such a good moment as well that they're going to run this back in some sort of way. I would assume this isn't over.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of had that same thought too at first, like right when it happened, and then I was like, you know what? I don't really care.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's like I don't really care.
It's a Donnybrook
because neither of these two guys are going to be like going for a title or anything like that.
Right.
So it's just a fun little match. I'm like, you know what? It's
fine. Finally, Kathy Kelly gets Cody Rhodes to the back, and she's like, hey, let's talk about that thing that happened in Bad Blood when Kevin Owens beat the hell out of you. And Cody's like, no. We're going to save that for Friday. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to see who I'm going to face at Crown Jewel, either Gunther or Sami. Mm-hmm. And Kathy's like, okay, have a good night. And Cody walks up a little bit more, and Mr. Sami Zayn greets him.
Yep.
And Sami, at first, is like, do you want to talk about the Kevin Owens thing? Should we talk about that? And Cody's like, no. I want to talk about your match. And Sami's like, well, speaking of my match, I'm going to win tonight. I'm going to face you. And Cody's even like, you know what? I want to face you. So you have the spirit to win and all that stuff. And then they kind of just keep talking and the camera fades. So that's the thing. Car pulls up, still backstage.
Yep.
Blacked out car.
Yeah. Earlier today, they kept some random.
It was an earlier today thing, I guess. But Raquel Rodriguez is driving it. And out the back pops not all of Judgment Day, but just Liv and Mr. Dom. Mm-hmm. And before Jackie can talk to her, Raquel, Liv steps in. And Liv's like, Rhea technically beat me, but I have everything. And I have Raquel now. She's like, even when I win, even when I lose, I win. Mm-hmm. And she goes, we are moving on from Rhea. We are moving on to Nia Jax and Crown Jewel. And then when Jackie Redmond starts to ask more questions, she just goes, you know what? Let's leave. Mm-hmm. And they get back in the car and they just leave. They're done with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We wondered how the 2 hours would be. And so like you got really no Terror Twins. I know you have the small Rhea promo, but really no Terror Twins and no Judgment Day really, except this little small thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
They had good matches on the card, and so they're like, hopefully the matches can suffice, and we're just not going to answer any questions that anybody has, kind of. Anyway, we would get a small Ethan Page backstage segment, but that's going to happen on NXT. Nothing big here in terms of what happens for Raw. So watch NXT; it's good stuff. Ethan Page is great. Mm-hmm. But then we get the most obvious 2 hour long show. Cause it was a 10-woman tag team match. Everybody's question. One of the biggest questions about going to 2 hours was how the hell are they going to fit in all these women? Because right now we have a ton of factions, and during the 3 hours you were able to get a couple matches from those factions. Well, how they're going to do it? They're going to throw all of them into the ring at once. 10-women tag team match here, so 5v5. It was your favorite tag team of all time, the Pure Fusion Collective, teaming with Unholy Union. So it was Team Heels versus Team Faces. It was Natalya. Who else was it? It was Natalya. It was Zelina. It was Lyra. It was Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And this match had no laws. There were no laws. It's a 10-woman tag team match. Hell was going to... So Katana Chance came out. She's wearing this mask. And Zoe Stark started the match against King Carter, and she hits King Carter once, and then she looks at Katana Chance and is like, ha, you look funny with that mask. And Team Faces, they got offended. And when they got offended, they all went in the ring and literally 15 seconds into this match, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
There were no rules.
Yeah.
Ref had nothing.
Yeah, it's the nice 2 hour, like you said, they're going to throw everybody on screen, but it's also the 2 hour effect of how do we get this over real quick?
Yeah.
Because it's just chaos.
Yeah, so when that happened, I mean, everybody kind of got their thing here during this first tornado of women in the ring. Lyra would do a suicide dive. King Carter would go to the top rope. She'd jump off and suicide dive. Meanwhile, Sonya Deville and is getting the best of Natalya on the outside, and she's throwing her off the steel steps. 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, that's a disqualification. But we come back from commercial break, and it is an actual match, and it's an actual match to just kind of showcase Zelina Vega. They're working her over. She was getting a bunch of offense over on Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville.
Mm-hmm.
But when she'd clear Sonya Deville out, and she'd hit a top rope moonsault to Zoe Stark, and when that happened, all hell broke loose again.
Yep.
And it reminded me of like a Kmart version of that old SmackDown ending when everybody would just run into the ring and do one move. They'd hit like their big move, and then the next person would hit their big move, and the next person would hit their big move. Because that's all it was. It was just big move, clear out, big move, clear out, big move, clear out. But they're doing like DDTs and stuff.
Yeah.
But eventually, Lyra would somehow get tagged in during all this match. She'd hit like a top rope leg drop on a like bended over Sonya Deville. 1, 2, 3. So once again, a Pure Fusion Collective member takes a pin. Not only a member, the leader. So things change, but things don't change. This was a mess. It was a mess. This ain't the way to do it in your 2-hour show. All the stuff that I say over the past few weeks about Pure Fusion Collective and all that stands. I can't pop it. I'm dropping it.
Yeah. This is one of the things for me that was really evident that it was their first 2 hours.
Yes.
Like you said, it was just a mess, and it was how do we get all these women on screen? How do we push something? But when all that was together, you get kind of this jumbled mess, and you don't really get anything out of it. I found myself at first I found myself when Unholy Union came out, I was like, oh, okay, it's a quick tag match. And then PFC came out, and I was like, wait, what are we doing? And they're like, oh, it's a 10-woman tag match. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it took me a second to realize that it was 5v5.
Oh yeah, same.
I thought for some reason it was like
2v2v2v2v2.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah, and then I realized I was like, oh, okay. Once the faces came out, I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's what we're doing. I'm dropping it. There's nothing really good from this. Didn't do any good for anybody.
Yeah.
And this was something that I like the effort. I like trying to get all the women on screen, but this is also something if you're not going to do it right, you just don't do it and you put something else there.
Yeah, you could have all these women involved elsewhere with only a few competing. The problem was just throwing them all in a match at once. Like that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 people in a match rarely ever works.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do it, have like PFC versus your 3 of your faces, and then have the others on the outside of the ring, and you get the same thing happening here with more of a cohesive in-ring story, probably.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe is I hate seeing Lyra Valkyria just drowning in this quicksand of nothingness.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do 10 people, like 10 people things only really work if it's like a Survivor Series or like a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, and you give it, 45 minutes. Like to have a 10-person tag match and give it, 7 minutes. It's like, oh God.
People are going to rebuttal and probably get mad of like, well, how else do you get all of them involved? And it's like, well, you do, like, we all knew that going 2 hours was going to mean we were going to take weeks off of storylines.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, even Liv and them got 30 seconds tonight.
Yeah.
Like, you could have given a backstage segment to a couple of these other members and not included them in this and just given us a little something.
Mm-hmm.
They're smarter people than me. I don't know how to write it. But this isn't the way. This is not the way to do it. Like, just throwing everybody in the ring and saying, they're here. Look, all your favorites. That's not.
Yeah. And I mean, admittedly, I don't even know who. Maybe I'm going to get pushback for saying this. I don't know who would have liked to see this match because PFC is pretty just bad right now. Unholy Union, they're good. I mean, they don't have any like credits since they lost those tag titles. They just keep losing. The party people are there. Valkyria is randomly there, and then you have Zelina and Natalya. It's just like, meh,
I'm not going to go into my weekly PFC craze that I normally am, but once again, PFC takes a pin. Speaking of women's matches, though, Jade and Bianca would do a little bit of a promo segment in the back. Basically, Damage Control has a title shot. They're looking forward to it, and they're not going to back down.
Yeah, and I like the way they set these up for next week.
Yeah.
Like they cut these little promos, and like next week, we're going to da-da-da-da. So then it's like, okay, I like that. It's better than just throwing up a graphic.
Shit, I'll take a title match a week, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Speaking of title matches, we get our main event, Sami Zayn versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were told by, we had brought up the idea of maybe Goldberg costing Gunther here, just based off of the history, which is Goldberg at Saudi, combined with what just happened at Bad Blood with Goldberg. Things were looking a little sticky. So that's exactly what WWE wanted, right? Yep. They wanted that sort of like, ooh, what if? And this match happened, and things happened here. But this match starts, and these two know each other, obviously. They had long feuds for the Intercontinental title in the past, and so they were trying to get the one up on each other, but they just know each other's move. And it was a combination of Gunther being a big old heel that does chops and long holds versus the underdog Sami, who gets a little bit of offense in here and there, but when he does, it's explosive and a lot of punches and a lot of kicks and a lot of, he's trying to get the best whenever he can. But whenever Sami gets going, Gunther meets it with a good old-fashioned chop, and things just go back to normal. But that's how it is. Match would eventually spill outside, though, where Gunther would get a powerbomb reversed, and he would get thrown onto the mat, and then he'd get up, and Sami Zayn would do an exploder into the barricade on him. It looked good.
Yeah.
Looked good. I was like, damn, that's a good move for Sami. And while he's out there, Sami would hit a haluva kick, most deadly move in all of sports entertainment, on the outside. But champion's advantage. You can't win that way. So Sami's like, what the hell am I going to do? There's a big boy laying on the ground. The ref is at 8. He does a smart thing. He rolls in the ring, rolls back out, breaks the count, and then he fireman carries Gunther to the ring. And things got really, really scary here for a minute because he rolled Gunther into the ring, stood him up into the corner, and haluva kicked him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, he just took 2 haluva kicks. Here comes the pin. But no, when he haluva kicks him, Gunther doesn't fall. He drops to a knee and then sort of stands up again. And when Sami sees that, he goes for a 3rd haluva kick. But Gunther, running clothesline lariat, hits him. And I was like, uh-oh. This is exactly what I said about Damian Priest not selling moves. I mean, we all joke about how deadly the haluva kick is. But that's 2 haluva kicks. That should hurt you. But it gets evened out here in a minute. So when he does that, Gunther locks in a sleeper hold, but Sami fights out of it. And then when they get up, Gunther's like, screw this. He hits him with another lariat, hits him with a big pop-up power bomb. 1, 2, ooh. Gunther's like, screw this. Pick him back up, kick him in the chest again. Another pop-up power bomb. 1, Sami kicks out at 1. And he's Sammy Hogan'd up. Like he's on a knee, like shaking, like you just imagine Hulk Hogan from back in the day. And I'm going, oh, so it's that kind of match. They're both just doing this. But when he's Hogan up, when he's being all Hogan, he doesn't realize that Gunther's still there, and Gunther locks sleeper hold in from behind. It's a good little shot. Like Sami's fighting spirit is going, but Gunther's like, nah, sleeper. Sami cannot get out of this sleeper. He succumbs to it. He's out. Ref calls the match. Gunther beats Sami Zayn, and he will face Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel in that champ versus champ match. This was a great match. I'm going to go ahead and pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I know originally, like you said, we talked about Sami potentially winning this. And we told people all day that we had hoped that we were wrong.
Yep.
And even throughout this match, I found myself being like, okay, please don't. Yep. Yep. And then when he hulks up, I was like, oh, dear God.
When he kicked out at 1, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, oh, dear God, here it comes. 2 haluva kicks, which is the most devastating move, which I don't care what anybody says it is, because of how many people he puts down with it after 1. So that makes Gunther look pretty strong here. Sami looked good here. Sami looked strong, even though he kind of passes out to the sleeper hold, kind of like Jey did in the King of the Ring. Good stuff here. We get Gunther versus Cody. I assume that's where we get the Goldberg stuff.
Yeah.
So we were a little bit off there, but Gunther versus Cody, I don't think there's any way there's a clean finish because they want to save that. I'm honestly a little bit surprised, as much as much as we talk about, I hope that we were wrong, and I am glad that we were wrong. I am a little bit surprised that they're gonna promote at least Gunther versus Sammy or Gunther versus Cody at Crown Jewel, because I feel like that's such a money big time match that's like a Mania type match. You know what I mean? So a little bit surprised, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, just in terms of the match, I want to get out of the way because in the Bad Blood review, I went into pretty big detail about not liking Damian not selling finishers. And I don't like the way that they did this either. I get it evened itself out, so it didn't feel as bad, right? So like Gunther no sells the two Helluva kits, kind of. Well, he sells them, but then he goes crazy on when the third one's coming. And then if he would have just popped that powerbomb Sammy sleeper hold done, I would have had the same problem I did with Damian. But Sammy, the thing is, Gunther's got 50 finishers, right? So the pop-up powerbomb was being used here. And when Sammy kicked out at one, it did sort of even it out. Still don't like that kind of stuff in wrestling. I'm old school. I like finishers being finishers. Like that's your big move. Beat out for the count. But I want to clear that up. While I didn't like it, at least they evened themselves out. They both did it, so it felt like less of a sting. In terms of the Crown Jewel match, yeah, I'm 100% with you. It feels like there's no way this gets a clean finish because you do want to save that for some sort of big event where there's not so much outstanding storylines, circling them, clouding them. It feels like it's either definitely going to be a Goldberg run-in or a Bloodline run-in, maybe both.
Or a Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm. Survivor Series is literally right around the corner. We will see with the Bloodline members and stuff, but I really feel like Cody's going to stick to that story in some way, shape, or form. And then, of course, the Goldberg thing, while it didn't happen at Raw like we might have predicted, that's something. Whether it's at Saudi or not remains to be seen, but it feels like that's going to come. But that match is going to slap until whenever Effery happens.
Yeah, and that's maybe my big thing. And before people say, well, like the Saudi shows are a big show, people might say that.
Yeah.
They're not, because like they control the whole show and all your storylines are just thrown out the window to make some quick storylines for this. But yeah, it feels like to me like that Gunther Cody stuff should be like a Mania match. So I feel like we're going to get some type of run in. I feel like that's pretty evident.
I kind of hope so, because I hope there is not I think either of these guys lose a little steam if it is a clean win for either side.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want both these guys to just feel like the strongest on their brands and keep it separate without this whole like champ of champs, like legit, like somebody's going to win it with a run-in or something.
Yeah.
But I'd rather hold off a clean victory for one of these guys over the other just down the line.
Kind of the same thing with the women's match as well.
Yeah.
So you kind of book yourself in a corner a little bit. Like, while you do want to have this and we are excited to see it, we want to see it. Like you said, it does take a little bit of the steam out of whoever loses. So you got to be careful with how you book that.
For sure. But first 2 hour Raw, overall good stuff. They have some stuff to work through in terms of Raw. They're just such a deep brand that you got a lot of people to get to that people want to see, and storylines that should be told. So we'll see what they do. It's only for a couple months, but personally, I mean, I like getting through it pretty quickly. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with it. Like I said, I know some of the stories might lack a little bit, or you might not see your favorite stars when you go or week to week. But for me, like the 2 hours went by quick, even though I felt like there were the same amount of commercials in a 2 hour as a 3 hour. I feel like there were a lot, but it was fine. It flew by, and I was like, okay.
Overall, pop for the episode from us. Another great Raw. We know that the second one, next week's Raw, got taped right after. We are personally staying away from those spoilers and stuff. We want to watch wrestling as the creators of wrestling and the producers want us to watch it. So we're going to wait till next week to review that stuff and talk about whatever happens, and hopefully we don't get spoiled about it till then. But till next time, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. And join our Discord if you want. We have a link tree in our bio with all of our socials. Go ahead and follow all those. We would greatly appreciate it. But until next time, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.